Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Maratha Chamber of Commerce, Industries and Agriculture, Pune, I, Anagha Natekar, welcome you all to the Pune Manufacturing Expo and Pune DevTech 2022. This expo is another step towards empowering the industry and particularly the MSMEs by offering them a platform to showcase their products and services and seek avenues for collaboration within India and abroad. It's time now to welcome our esteemed guests. May I request Mr. Karandikar Sir, President MCCIA, to give a memento to Mr. Swain, Secretary, Ministry of MSME, Government of India. May I now request Mr. Girbane, DG MCCIA, to give a set of MCCIA publications to Mr. Swain. May I request President Sir to once again welcome Brigadier Singh with a memento. May I request Mr. Karandikar once again to give a memento to Mr. Shekhar Singh, Municipal Commissioner, Pimpri-Chinchwad Municipal Corporation. May I now request Mr. Swain to unveil the exhibitors directory, please. May I now request Mr. Deepak Karandikar, President MCCIA, to give the welcome address.
Good morning to all ladies, gentlemen, dignitaries on the dais, off the dais. On behalf of MCCIA and on behalf of the participants in the audience today, I would like to welcome Mr. B.B. Swain, Secretary, Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprise, Government of India, at this inaugural function of Pune Manufacturing Expo 2022, Pune DevTech as well. I would also like to welcome Brigadier N.P. Singh, Chairman, Regional Technology Node, Pune. I extend my greetings to the senior officials from the Central and State Department officials, from diplomatic and trade commissions of other countries, past presidents of MCCIA, members of the board, and executive committee as well as chairpersons of various committees of our chamber. We have in excess of about 17 committees working for the good of the industry. Business leaders, exhibitors, representatives of media, and all others who are present here. As some of you would know, MCCIA has worked with the central government and the state government to formulate policies for industrial development, attracting investments and facilitating ease of doing business. The Chamber has created several institutions important for business and enabled the setting up of large infrastructure projects such as industrial and IT parks, common facility centers, and so many others. We have joined hands with the state government to address some of the major concerns of the industry over the years. We have made significant contribution to promoting business and institutional linkages of Pune region with other countries. The Chamber has worked with departments of state government and ministries of the central government as well as local government to formulate an institutional and governance framework aimed at ensuring growth of the industry in particular and economy in general in the Pune region and other parts of the state. We have created common facilities for MSMEs, for auto components and food processing sectors with financial and other support from Maharashtra state government and concerned ministries of Government of India over a couple of decades. Most recently, we have set up a facility for the MSMEs from the electronic sector to provide testing, validation, certification, EMI and EMC services at the MECF, which is MCCI Electronic Cluster Foundation. Earlier this year, we organized the Pune Alternative Fuel Conclave, comprising a conference rally of electric vehicles and an expo of electric vehicles at the behest of the Maharashtra state government and with the support of Maharashtra Industrial Development Corporation and MPCB. This expo for manufacturing sector will be open for business visitors from the 7th to the 9th November at the auto cluster here, Chinchwad, Pune. The main objectives of this expo is to allow the MSMEs to showcase their unique products, services and technology and explore linkages with large-scale companies from India and abroad. The expo will focus on engineering, which includes machinery, machine tools, assemblies, components, etc. Automotive, which is OEMs, Tier 1 and 2, conventional alternative fuel, EVs, such as EVs, CNG, LNG, biofuels, hydrogen, and the list goes on. Third is defense, electronics, electricals, environment technologies, which includes waste management and recycling. We have a big push from the PCMC Commissioner for helping us do that, and let's give him a big hand for the initiatives that he has taken. Thank you, sir. Engineering design, IoT, artificial intelligence, machine learning, ERP, data integration, solutions in manufacturing. And last and not the least, financial and other solutions for manufacture. Pune is one of the most prominent centers for manufacturing, IT and IETs, education and research in India. It hosts companies and organizations, almost all the major sectors from India and abroad. Most of the companies from across the sectors in Pune and other parts of India have surpassed the pre-COVID levels in manufacture and sales. Keep it up, sir. Many of them have developed innovative products, solutions, and have diversified in different segments. These companies are also an important part of the domestic and global value chain. This expo is a combined effort of 3 of our committees of the MCCIA: the MSME Committee, the Defense Committee, and the Foreign Trade Committee. We are happy to learn that we have diplomats and trade commissioners of the missions of Singapore, Thailand, Taiwan, South Africa, Rwanda, Austria, Saudi Arabia, and representative offices of Baden-Württemberg and Frankfurt-Rhein-Main. We acknowledge the support of the MSME Development Facilitation Office for participating, earlier MSMEDI office, for participating and patronizing the micro, small companies at the Expo. We also thank the sponsors, Bitmapper, SIDBI, and Om Metalab. We must also acknowledge the enthusiastic participation of over 100 SMEs at this Expo. We thank the officials of the Ministry of External Affairs, Government of India, for their wholehearted support in forwarding details of the Expo to the various diplomatic missions of other countries in India. I am sure that the exhibitors will have fruitful dialogue with business visitors. To add glory to the exhibition, we have planned several concurrent events during the Expo. These include meetings with diplomats, trade commissioners, and officials from representatives of the states in Germany, Manufacturing Sustainability 4.0 as part of MCCIA US Consulate Series on Supply Chain Sustainability, Defense Vendor Development Meet, Technology for Manufacturing Excellence, Session on Schemes and Initiatives of SIDBI for SMEs, Session on Select Schemes of Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises for the benefit of MSMEs such as Z, public procurement and other schemes. I'm sure all of you who are present here and many more who would come to visit the Expo would benefit from these value-added sessions. I wish you all the best. Thank you. From MCCI, Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. I now request Mr. Prashant Girbane, Director General MCCIA, to give his opening remarks.
Thank you, Anaga. Swen sir, other dignitaries on the dais, dignitaries of the dais, all the MSMEs and those who have specifically come to visit the Expo. We have spent past couple of years wondering when would we start the activities, the expos, where the MSMEs would get to interact with each other. This very facility was given for COVID care, and hence we could not organize any other expos here, because when there is such a national need, when there is such a need, we need to go and look beyond businesses. No wonder, thanks to Mr. Bhargava, who was president, and then Mr. Mehta, and now Mr. Karandika, the chamber looked at about 100 crore plus resources in terms of money to launch one of the biggest initiatives to support COVID responses. We're glad that we are past it. Now, we are at a stage where we are able to interact with each other, move more freely, and have a lot of these expos happening. Past COVID, this is the first large expo that's happening here that is focused on manufacturing. And why would it not? If you come from a district that may not yet be the state capital, but it's the largest one in the country that is not a state capital. If you come from a district that may not be in the top 5 in population or size, but it's in top 5 when it comes to merchandise export. If you come from a district that might look not first on many other parameters, but it's first when it comes to engineering goods exports. If you come from a district that makes sure that it's progressive, not just looking at the history, but also present. When you look at the MSMEs, when you look at the registrations, when you look at the MSME Udyam registrations is the first one. When you look at the district that represent not just the district, but many other surrounding districts as well. When it comes to manufacturing, that it does. When it comes to defense indigenization, right? When you look at this place, this Pimpri Chinchwad, which is one of the biggest hubs of the industrial areas in the country. When we come here, the chamber, with the history of those 88 years, when we come here in the auto cluster, that is a history of more than a decade and a half. All of it serving MSMEs. MCCI last year had 9,600 MSMEs visiting it for one reason or another. 9,600 MSMEs under one roof. This very facility where we are sitting has helped 300 to 400 MSMEs last year and every year before that. We are at a place which is charged up when it comes to small companies, medium companies, large companies being able to contribute to not just Pune and state, but the national economy. I'm not going to take long time because we all are here to listen to Swain sir, the Secretary Sahab, as well as before that you would get to hear the Brigadier, and before that you will get to hear the Commissioner talk about what we're doing here and what the vision is. Before I end, all that I would want to say is all of what we do here is possible thanks to the support that we get from the center, from the state, very much here from the Commissioner, from institutions like SIDBI, the Development Facilitation Organization, and many others who are here. We also have the District Industries Commissioner, District Industries Officer. All of these individuals, all of these institutions come together to help us, and hence we do what we do. I'm going to stop there and hand it over to Anagha so that we could proceed with the program. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We have with us today the Municipal Commissioner of Pimpri-Chinchwad Municipal Corporation, Mr. Shekhar Singh, with us. I now invite him to address the audience.
Secretary, MSME, Government of India, Swain sir, Brigadier NP Singh, members of the MCCIA governing body, and dear friends. I think I was just discussing with Mr. Pahwa also, and he was mentioning, and there was something that I wanted to mention. I remember Mr. Karandikar saying it in his inaugural presidential address when our Honorable Deputy CM was here in Pune, when I think he was appointed as the president, that probably it's the first time that an MSME guy is heading MCCI and all other industry organizations. So I think that goes on to prove the current impetus and probably the historical impetus that MCCIA has given to MSMEs in general. PCMC has had a very good symbiotic relationship with the industries. I often keep saying industries exist here even before the corporation existed. So a lot of industries have been here since 1940s, 50s, and maybe even much before that. Corporation came into existence only in 1982, and it's been a good symbiotic relationship, sir, since then. Obviously, the corporation has benefited, the industries have benefited from the city as well, and the infrastructure has also grown in and around the industries, and primarily with the needs of the industries as well, keeping them in mind in terms of what currently the infrastructure exists and what it exists or would exist in the future as well. Just as an aside, corporation is in the process of DP revision as well. I would already the industries, MSMEs and others might have already pitched in with your ideas and suggestions. I think we are still open to all of them so that then we can see probably a better synergy going forward into the future also. The DP revision that we are doing is with 2041 in mind. PCMC also has had a good collaboration. I was in Satara, and as Prashant was just mentioning about MCCI's work during COVID, I think I benefited from MCCI work when I was posted as District Collector Satara as well. And that has also been the situation for PCMC. Auto cluster, obviously, I visited first time when I came to visit the Jumbo COVID Center that PCMC had created, and we were trying to create something similar in Satara, which we did create back then in terms of a 400-bed hospital. And those were really times which are very different, but I think the synergy that exists between MCCI and PCMC in general did help either way and overall in terms of the facilities that people can have. Mr. Karandikar already mentioned, sir, we are working with MCCI closely in terms of getting a CTP on foot very, very soon, an MRF facility, which could provide a facility for the industry, especially I think MSMEs to have a facility for their waste, the non-hazardous waste. The hazardous waste needs to go out to a different facility. But also with regards to other things like security issues, etc., also we are collaborating with the police commissionerate as well at our level. So the auto cluster where we are conducting this entire thing, I think going forward there's a close collaboration. PCMC commissioner is the MD and the chairman of the auto cluster, and Prashant and other people from MCCI are closely involved in that. We do intend to make this or probably convert it into a more futuristic organization going forward, where it can become a driving force, which it already is in many ways, but probably it can evolve into a much better institution and organization to push the whatever push that we are talking today in terms of Industry 4.0 or IoT or TOT and a lot of other abbreviations coming in picture with regards to Industry 4.0. But I'm quite sure PCMC is on our part. We are quite ready to cater to the needs of the industries as well from a civic infrastructure point of view and from the point of view of being a hub that exists for various spokes that industries are, or in various forms. It could be manufacturing industries, it could be various institutions that we have. It is soon becoming an educational hub also, with a lot of universities coming in. And probably going forward, I do also see it as a place in the next 15 to 20 years in terms of a medical tourism or a medical facility, an institutional medical facility in that sort of a space. So it's been a great collaboration till now. I'm quite sure our collaboration in future would also be good. Once again, kudos to MCCIA for conducting this Pune Manufacturing Expo along with DefTech also. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Our guest of honor today is Brigadier N.P. Singh, Chairman, Regional Technology Node, Southern Command. May I now request Brigadier Singh to address the audience, please.
Mr. Swain, Mr. Shekhar, Mr. Karandikar, and Mr. Girbane, and all the esteemed panelists, ladies and gentlemen, indeed a great pleasure to be here. Greatly enthused by the encouraging participation of the industry in all the activities that the Army has been up to over the last few years, and more so of the great ecosystem that Pune possesses. We've been in existence, the Regional Technology Node has been in existence for just about a year or so. And we've been going around, we've been meeting the industry representatives and going to the premises. And we are greatly encouraged by the fantastic work being done by the industry here. And of course, the innovative minds which exist here, right here in Pune. And most encouraging part is that the entire ecosystem exists here today, from second order, third order suppliers to system integrators to the top-notch firms like Tata's and L&T and Bharat Forge. It's very, very encouraging. And I see a great movement ahead as far as the defense cluster is concerned. I've seen this develop over the years, and I think it's a great move. A quick global scan, I think it's quite well understood that the military and the defense needs are quite important, and this has come to fore with the recent conflict in Ukraine. The defense spending has gone up. It's estimated that it's going to be 2 trillion this year. The defense companies are doing well, all of them from the American companies to Turkish to Taiwanese to everybody else is doing very well. It also shows large number of weapon platforms being employed there in Ukraine with very, very complex systems. It also shows the number of sources that these platforms are coming from varied sources. These platforms are coming, whether European, whether American, Turkish or otherwise. It also shows creative use of the weapons which are being employed there. And it shows that the innovative nature of human mind is the one which is actually getting how to exploit these weapon systems there in Ukraine. Coming closer home, Atmanirbharta has been a great push over the last few years, and we've seen it happening within the military over the last few years. Just a few examples, 87% of the contracts last year were to the Indian industry. 100% of them this year have been to the Indian industry. The participation of the Indian industry in the DEF Expo this year in Gandhinagar last month was 100%. All Indian industry was there in the DEF Expo. Large number of AONs are being planned to be given to the industry. They are planned to be given to the Indian industry as a rule. And the emergency power procurement also happening from the Indian industry. So it's all happening in the last few years. And I'm quite encouraged by the fact that Indian industry has come up to those requirements and been performing extremely well. Large number of initiatives like MAKE, D&D, IDEX, TDF, Army Technology Board have been taken. The Army Design Bureau itself came into being 6 years ago. I was fortunate to be part of the founding team that time. and it's done a great work over the last few years in encouraging the Indian industry to participate in the military ecospace. What we do here as part of the regional technology node in the last 1 year or so is to facilitate the industry to carry out trials, access to equipment, access to weapons. This has all been done. More than 4 dozen, I think, such things have been done already. And of course, the industry, the biggest problem is that they lack the understanding of our needs. So we have been hand-holding the industry from startups to the top ones to understand what our requirements are and take them ahead. We've had a lot of interactions, Mr. Girbane and Mr. Prashant Joglekar here, and the newly appointed chairman of the Defense Committee, Mr. Fadke. We've had a lot of interactions in the last year or so, and they've been great. The RTN also exists as the single point of contact for all requirements the industry might have to understand what the user requirements are and to build upon the ecosystem that has been created. I thank the organizers for the wonderful event here and hope that this results in further interaction and better coordination with the industry here and the military. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. We are honored to have amongst us today Mr. B.B. Swain, Secretary, Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, Government of India, as our chief guest. May I now request Swain sir to address the audience, please.
President of MCCIA, Mr. Deepak Karandikar. I think after 2 years I can call you my old friend, so Mr. Prashant Girbane, Mr. Phadke, Mr. Power, Mr. Sekhar Singh, Brigadier N.P. Singh, members of the audience, esteemed audience, ladies and gentlemen. Just before we started this function, I had the pleasure of interacting with a number of representatives from the association. I think quite a few interesting ideas were given, and I do carry with me back to Delhi a number of things which we could do, which we could collaborate on, which we could over the period obviously work on. Of course I was repeatedly told that Pune is the center of the world, so and I do appreciate that. It is, I'm not very sure about the center of the world, but it's definitely center of our ecosystem, the setups. We are legitimately proud of the achievement which Pune has done, particularly in this sector. My ministry, which I represent today, has a very, very close relationship with people here. And I'm quite sure our people and the industry here has worked together over the years. We have learned a lot from them, and we have learned how to operate our schemes. But one thing I definitely would request you carry this message also to the entire country. Go to those places where probably a lot needs to be done. So one of the things which in the ministry we are following now is we call it look at the map. Look at the map for each of your scheme. Find out where you have never been there. Because quite obviously, there are very, very successful areas, and they have done substantial work for our country, our economy. It's well appreciated. But as a ministry, we need to work with all. So we make it a policy, strictly based on a kind of a mapping kind of a thing. We try to designate or delineate which are the new areas where we should be getting in, which are the new industries we should be tackling. And I'm quite sure we're getting at least some result of it. These are the things which I would request, in fact, an organization as esteemed as yours to really be working on that. So you are among the very few industry associations which is the agriculture part of it. There's actually called industry, Maratha, this thing of commerce, industry and agriculture. I did spot, I went through your annual report, and it has an element of agriculture and agribusiness. How I wish I could have got a page on cottage industries and village industries as well. So maybe you have become so big, you have become so specialized. There is so much of verticals in this. I went through it, very impressive. I mean, there are verticals almost on each and everything. I wish the next time I come, you have a vertical on village as well. That is also one of the mandate of my ministry. We do believe that there is as much employment to be created in the urban areas, in the industrial areas, as it has to be created in the rural. And I'm quite sure organizations like you can do wonderful things. Maybe a small vertical, but something working on that. That would be my request. Of course, it is for you to take it up. I'm extremely pleased to participate in this program. I'd like to congratulate Maratha Chamber of Commerce, Industries, Agriculture for organizing this event. I'm happy to note that the main objective of the exhibition planned in the program cover very important sectors: engineering, automotive, defense, electronics. The sectors which are being showcased in this event are all very, very important for the MSMEs. I see tremendous potential in further growth of these sectors. Development of these sectors will definitely lead to employment generation, and that is something that Government of India has been focusing on, especially in the post-pandemic era. I'm pleased to share with you that within 28 months of the adoption of the new definition of MSMEs in 2020 and the subsequent launch of the Udyam portal, more than 11, that is actually 1.17 crore now, MSMEs with an employment of 8.71 crore have registered. The point to make here is that this declaration is voluntary, and there has been this traditional reservation not to give the exact figure of employment. And despite that, this 1.17 crore voluntary declaration is 8.71 crore employment, which shows the level of employment which this sector is doing in this particular country. And I'm quite sure it is way beyond the sample survey which was done in 2016. I'm quite sure it might go into 14 crore, 15 crore. It's a huge, huge number. What is noteworthy is that among the 8.71 crore, which is only the registered figure, the unregistered figure is obviously beyond it. The employment generated for women is more than 2 crore in this particular sector. You'll also be happy to know that 19% of our registration have come from the state of Maharashtra, which is actually the largest base of, shows also the reflection of the economy here. And the formalized economy, because these are people who are registering. I'm quite sure there's a lot of informal economy. And of course, DG Saab would love to tell me that Pune is the number one in that. I mean, of course, I'll ask Mr. Gokhe to cross-check the figure and tell me. No doubts about that, but I'm quite sure Pune would be ahead of all this. And I wish this kind of support we continue to get. The COVID-19 pandemic has posed many challenges for all of us, especially for the MSME sector. The government took a number of initiatives to help the MSMEs to successfully tide over the situations, addressing the two most important challenges of access to finance and technology. These initiatives are comprehensive and have included technology upgradations, skill upgradations, addressing quality issues, providing access to affordable credit, emergency credit line guarantee schemes, and making schemes more exclusive, monitoring public procurement through Sambandh portal. One good news for us is that 25% of the target which we keep for all central government and CPSs to procure from is 25%. Ambitious. This year we reached 34%. So that I think is a great thing which happened out of all central government, all CPSs, which are procuring very well from the MSMEs. There has been attempts like Champions Portal. You'll be happy to know that about 50,000 problems were sorted out through that. These are the things which increasingly should be used by MSMEs. We often hear that to avail benefits of the schemes and programs of the government, the MSMEs tend to stunt its growth. It's a strange phenomena where they say that, we have reached this particular level, we don't want to grow because then we'll lose a lot of factors which help us out in procurement and other things. A very important decision was taken last month. Thus, regarding granting 3 years instead of 1 year of non-tax benefit to MSMEs in case of category changes. This has happened just last month. Effectively, this means that if a small enterprise becomes medium, it can continue to avail benefits such as those of public procurement, delayed payments and all for 3 years from the date of change of status. So I think this was one of the asks of the industries, and we tried to do what we could do. A very important project in the pipeline is the one where we're working together with SIDBI to formalize tiny enterprises. There has been this particular narrative that we insist on PAN and we insist on, which is there. The tiny enterprises somehow get left out. You must be knowing today MSME as a sector has gone to even include street vendors. We in fact treat it as a very important sector in our this thing. There's a huge sector. Today it includes trade, it includes industry, services. Increasingly, very, very high percentage of MSMEs are into services. And there are those tiniest possible enterprises which probably work with very limited documentation and probably do not have a PAN number and all. We have been working with SIDBI, and you'll be very happy to know that most likely it will be launched in December first week. We have been working for almost the last 6 months, which is talking about bulk uploading of a lot of information from lenders. Actually, lenders have a huge database in this country. The microcredit, there are so many other things. And there is no reason why the very tiny, just because they are not able to get into our registration system because of lack of certain documents, should be necessarily denied the priority sector lending or other factors or other benefits. And we, in fact, we want them to formalize. And since they're not able to do that because of lack of documents, we decided that if we get certificates from the lenders telling that these are people who are dealing with the credit, and our hope is that today the 11 million probably will go to a very high figure the moment we start doing it. We are tying up with all lending organizations. Let us hope that this is a success which will bring in lot more into the fold. That is essentially the intention. A large number of stakeholders are present here today. Each stakeholder has an important role to play in the development of the MSME sector. The success of the ministry's programs and schemes depends on the active participation of stakeholders. I am confident that you will agree with me that a suitably enabled environment is possible only if all stakeholders work together towards a common goal. Few months back, we have started a practice where our development commissioner does stakeholder consultation absolutely on a sector kind of a basis. We want to specialize. We also feel that there cannot be a solution which is fit for everybody. The kind of things which is coming out of Pune, the IoT solutions or this is thing, naturally we need to also modulate our policies so that it starts taking into account all the new ideas. So stakeholder consultation which is going on now, sector-wise, I'm quite sure will go a long way. And we, as a ministry, are a great believer that you are as much part of our policy as we are part of your implementation. So it is not something where we create the policy and we expect you to implement. This is policy has to flow. And today, while discussing with the gentleman present today, I was very happy to see the kind of suggestions which came up regarding certain legislative changes and all. Believe me that if you give us those ideas, I'm quite sure we'll fructify it. One thing which the ministry has been working and focusing quite strongly is we like to call it coordinated policy making. We feel a lot is happening all over the country. Every state contributes immensely to this sector. See, we are only just a small percentage of what is happening in the MSME sector. It's a huge gamut of organizations, state governments, industry bodies, almost so many things are actually happening at every point of time. What probably is required is the coordinated. I mean, well coordinated, not necessarily the same, but well coordinated, where our response, the state responses, the response of the major stakeholders are very similar. and we work towards a very positive and a good kind of future. The scheme of ramp, which we brought in last year, it's called, I think, raising and accelerating the MSME performance in the aftermath of the COVID, is essentially aiming for that. Every Indian state and union territory is being encouraged to create a very state-specific SIP, what we call an investment plan initiatives, and see to it that the investment which is being done by the federal government, the investment by the state government work in tandem. They work together towards quite obviously what is our major target group. I talked about finding the gaps and studying the map in every policy making, which we intensely try. I intend to come back to Pune. This is a very short visit, but really loved it. And maybe after this, I'll go and see some of the beautiful places in Pune, which I've heard so much about. And great city and center of the earth. But anyway, I mean, it has been a real pleasure, and it's so nice to meet like-minded people, people who really want to do great things for this country. I'll just end up with what I keep repeating to every place where I go to in this country and meet the entrepreneurs. I always say that you are the bravest of the people. You are people of courage, and you are people who give employment to our citizens. And you need to be very brave to be in this. And you are the risk takers. And that's why naturally we stand behind you and we stand to support you. Thank you. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you, sir. I now request our sponsors, the principal sponsor, gold and silver sponsors, to come up on stage. Mr. Amey Mahajan, founder Bitmapper. Mr. Anjani Srivastav, general manager SIDBI. And Mr. Jugraj Sangvi, Om Metalab. I request DG sir to please felicitate them. Thank you, sir. I now invite Mr. Girbani once more to present the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Anaga. First of all, a huge thanks and the roundest possible applause for Swain Saab for coming here and thank you so much, sir. First of all, for believing Pune is center of earth, but beyond that, no, that's just on a lighter side. So thank you so much for taking time out, your precious time out, connecting with MSME just before this, and as well as that very, very encouraging address. So you mentioned many things. We have absorbed them and will work on them. But just a couple of things, if I may address directly. One, about the A in MCCIA. So you would be pleased to know that just last year, we had 1,300 farmers. Sir, 1,300 farmers who came to the MCCIA building to know निर्यात क्या करनी है, किस देश में कर सकते हैं, कौन से अन्नधान्य कर सकते हैं और कैसे करनी है. And sir, out of those who wanted to actually execute it, not just ask. We have a battery of about 10 experts who are able to help them in person, on phone, on email, or on video conference. Yes, it's very easy these days from villages to do a WhatsApp call. I mean, all of us do this, right? So many farmers are able to do that. It is thanks to the collaborative approach again. Mr. Sarangi, who was Additional Chief Secretary, Government of Maharashtra for Agriculture, has happily taken over as the chairperson of that committee, and thanks to him, we've been able to do this. Yeah, thank you. So bunch of things, it's very good for somebody like me to come over and take all the claps, but we always stand on the shoulders of some of those giants who are not necessarily here. They're all in the background doing all of that wonderful work. So we'll continue to do that on agriculture and food processing, sir. Also many MSMEs that are part of food processing that are directly linked and connected. So much so that, very quick information for all of you, just tomorrow we are launching an Agritech initiative where we'll be able to support Agritechs, and we're getting Mr. Ajinkya Rahane to come over and help us with that as a chief guest. So the second point you mentioned about helping some of those MSMEs beyond Pune. We will take that challenge, sir, and here is what we would intend to do. It's on record so that next time when you come, right, we're able to demonstrate something. So just few months ago, with help of my colleague Nikhil, we started doing this with first 0 to 1 before we do 1 to n. The 0 to 1 is happening with Nagar district. We are trying to see all the activities and programs that happened here in Pune. How is it that people in that Nagar district are able to benefit? So we have a small little office out there. And most of the programs that are happening here, they're already connected thanks to the digital platform that we have. Once we work on it for next couple of months, we would intend to replicate it in multiple districts, whether it's Satara, whether it's Sangli, Solapur, Usmanabad. Most of those districts should be able to connect with us from here so that we are able to address. So that next time when you come here, sir, it's not just the audience here, but from those districts also would be listening simultaneously. So many times, as an industry association, we always come with the challenges industries are facing. So we get paid for that, so I might as well do that. We'll continue to do it. But sir, also there is another thing that's our responsibility we understand very well, which is the extant schemes, policies of the government. How is it as an association we percolate them down to the intended beneficiaries, in this case the MSMEs and the industry? We have been doing this for quite some time and will continue to do that whenever and wherever our help and support is required. So thank you so much, sir, and we'll look forward, now that you promised in presence of this audience also that you would come back again soon. We'll take you on that, sir, and we'll continue to request your office to give us another appointment sometime soon. I'll also thank Commissioner PCMC, who've been very supportive. In the very first week of coming to PCMC, he came over to Auto Cluster, he came over to MECF, he visited, and he actually not just discussed but took some of those actions as well. So thank you so much, and thank you so much for coming today. We thank Brigadier N.P. Singh for joining us and for making the DefTech part of it happen. So a huge round of applause for Brigadier Singh. Brigadier sir, it's a matter of great pride, not just business, when it comes to defense indigenization for us. With all of your officers here and in the command, and in the RTN, we must communicate that with my colleague Prashant Joglekar, we'll continue to see how best we can support and how best we can bring the industry and the initiatives of RTN together. So thank you so much. I know today I haven't said this, I say it every day, every time I speak. तालियां बजाने से कभी किसी का नुकसान नहीं हुआ है. Trust me. While I'm here, we should also thank various officers, and I'm sorry, I'll try to say it in one breath if possible. There are past presidents of chamber here. There are veterans from the forces here. There are other industry association chiefs here. We also have on the stage the committee chairpersons of both defense and MSME. We have the head of the earlier what we used to call the MSME DI, but now the facilitation organization chief here. We have the district industry center chief here. I think all of you make it the event brilliant, I'll tell you. It's not just MCCI trying to do on its own. When we do something, it's all of us doing it, and that's what makes it brilliant. So thank you, each and every one of you, for coming here. I must thank my colleague, specifically Sudhanwa, if you could stand up. A round of applause for my colleague Sudhanwa. And Prashant, if you could come forward, who put together the DefTech. Thank you so much. It's these colleagues who kind of do all of this and put it together, so thank you so much. I'm aware, with your permission, I would announce that immediately after this session, we would have the inaugural of the Expo. Is that okay? All right. Thank you so much. After this session, I'll request all of you to take your stations at the Expo. We will get the MSME secretary, Swain Sahab, and other dignitaries to come over and inaugurate the exhibition center. Thank you once again with a round of applause. Many, many thanks. Now I announce the inaugural program has concluded. Thank you.